So it's not really this or that is going to give you the real result. The thing that's going to give you the actual result that you're looking for is cutting out the shit.
Most hosts never achieve the results they hoped for. They're falling short on listenership and monetization, meaning their message isn't being heard and their show ends up costing them money. This podcast was created to help you grow your listenership and make money while you're at it. Get ready to take notes. Here's your host, Adam Adams.
Hey, podcaster. It's your host, Adam A. Adams. And we are talking today, it's vegan versus carnivore, but really we are going to relate this to podcasting because in anything and everything that you do, this lesson, this analogy is going to work for you. And I thought it was interesting. There are people that only eat meat. It's the only thing they have. Let's just say that they have beef 3 times a day, or they might have eggs and beef 3 times a day, or simply only beef, or maybe they're mixing it where they can have all sorts of meats, turkeys or fish or turkeys. Turkey, fish, chicken, beef, bison, elk, you name it, duck. Ooh, duck, that's my favorite. So we're talking about vegan versus carnivore in a way, and we're talking about how do we get to a result. And these people that only eat meat, they say that their inflammation goes down. They say that their body burns a lot of fat a lot better than it used to because of ketones or whatever. They say that they feel stronger and healthier than ever. They feel more limber. They feel faster. Their heads are sharp. Their brains are really working. And then just if you go to the complete opposite of somebody who's practicing veganism, that means, I'm sure most of you know, but practicing veganism means you never eat meat. You probably don't even have fish because that's pescatarian. So you don't have any types of meat. You don't have really hardly any omega-3s. You don't have very much protein. It's pretty hard to get a good amount of protein. But somebody who's practicing a vegan diet, they swear by it. They say, I feel healthier. They feel happier. They feel lighter. They feel faster. And they try to say that their cholesterol's better, their blood markers are better, and that's proof that it's working. And in both cases, here's the problem. Listen carefully. Here's the point that we're making. A strict carnivore diet cuts out a bunch of shit. It cuts out boxed crackers. It cuts out things that are processed. It cuts out a bunch of that crap, the shit. And veganism cuts out a lot of the shit too. You can't be a raw vegan and eat potato chips or French fries. You can't be a raw vegan and eat almost anything from a box. So the carnivore diet and the vegan diet are opposites. A carnivore, literally, if somebody says I'm 100% carnivore, it means I never eat vegetables or fruit. And if somebody who eats only vegetables and fruit, obviously they never eat meat. But here's the thing that's interesting. Listen carefully. In both cases, they swear by their diet. In both cases, they get results. So what's the difference? I've mentioned it before, and it happened to be in the teaser today, first part that you heard. A vegan and a carnivore, neither of them are eating the crap. Neither of them are eating the stuff that's terrible for them, the stuff in the box. Now, in case you don't want only dieting tips today, I'm going to give you one more analogy. Here's the thing. I have been really focusing on my fitness. And somebody at CrossFit will talk about CrossFit being so good and so helpful. And CrossFitters, and I am one. I was one. I actually went today. I love CrossFit. CrossFitters might say that's the best way to exercise. They might say that because we do a little bit of strength training and we do different movements every time. We're always mixing up the movements and the muscles, and we're always surprising the muscles. And that's really how you grow. And I know a lot of CrossFitters, if they've been doing it for more than a year, and certainly if they've been doing it for more than 2 years, they probably look fantastic. They are probably able to do things that most of us can't do. They're probably able to do just fun acrobatic things. Like today, we did something called a muscle up. Look it up. Look up a muscle up. Go find this on YouTube or something and see what it is. They are not easy. And that was part of the workout. And so I did some muscle ups today. And what I'm saying is CrossFit is going to get you healthy and fit. It's going to allow you to have a variation of different things. So you can do some cardio. You can definitely do some strength training. You can do some HIIT workouts. You can do some high intensity stuff like HIIT workouts. You can do a variation of things. You can lift this way. You can lift that way. You do some power lifting. You do some Olympic lifting. You do some gymnastics, you do some cardio like running and biking and rowing. You do all of those things and you are an all around very, very healthy person. And so a CrossFitter is going to say, this is the best way. And then you look at somebody who just does this type of workout or that type of workout, or you even narrow it down to just CrossFit. And you find out that almost no two gyms are programming the same workouts each week. And so it's like, well, how could that one work? And how could that one work? How could the carnivore diet work? And how could the vegan diet work? How could the bodybuilding diet work? And when you go even deeper to bodybuilding, I put together an idea, a 5-day workout split. And I gave it to, I think, 4 people that I trust. And one of them said, that's perfect. They agreed with me. Another one said, that's never going to work. You have to get the result that you're looking for. You have to do this and this and this. And another one basically said it was so far off that it's not going to work. Here's the thing. If you are moving and exercising, you're going to get fitter than if you're staying stagnant. And it's interesting. You could follow all of the diet advice. You could follow all of the lifting advice. You could do this person's workout or that person's workout. They're probably going to work because you're cutting out the shit. You're cutting out the bad stuff. When you are focused and motivated on doing this, you're probably cutting out the other things. So it comes also to your podcast. And I want you to be careful and cautious and notice that everybody's going to have a different opinion. Somebody is going to say that you should just start your podcast right now and go ahead and do it on your cell phone and have bad audio quality because the audio quality doesn't really matter because nobody's really listening, they say. And another person will say, just start. You can change it later. Another person will say, you have to use this Blue Yeti, which please don't use the Blue Yeti. If you're curious what that is, it is a microphone that is terrible for podcasting, but they're really good at marketing for podcasters. And so they get a whole bunch of people using the wrong type of mic in their office, and then they have a worse quality than they could if they didn't use it. But anyway, the point is, somebody's going to say, oh, just use a $20 mic. Another person's going to say, you got to spend at least $200. Another person is going to say, you could just start with this one thing and upgrade later. Another person is going to say, this $500 mic is the best one. That's the right one to go. And the problem is your head starts freaking spinning. Vegan, carnivore, bodybuilding, powerlifting, Olympic lifting, cross training, cycling. What should I be doing? Should I start a podcast? Should I not start a podcast? Should I start a podcast with this mic or with that mic? Because it's differing opinions. And here's the point. One is, yes, some people will give you some shit. The vegan diet, it'll probably work. Carnivore, it'll probably work. It's basically because you're not eating the crackers. But there are people that are like, oh, you can eat processed food all you want. And then it changes your hormones. And then you're grumpy, you're fat, you're this and that. So the point is that there's all sorts of advice. And the right advice gets rid of the shit. The correct advice, the better advice gets rid of the shit. On this podcast, I do my absolute best to get rid of the shit, to allow you to be able to narrow it down. But there is going to be somebody that says something opposite from me, but it'll work too. The vegan diet works. The carnivore diet works. Keto might work for a temporary amount of time. And CrossFit could work. Bodybuilding could work. Maybe even running could work. It gets you out. It gets you moving. There are pros and cons to everything. There are probably pros and cons to veganism. There are probably some pros and cons to carnivore. But they will both work if you stick strict to them. CrossFit will work if you stick strict to them. And whatever the advice is that you get from people, if you feel like it's not shit advice, follow it. Do it to the best of your ability. Follow what you hear on this podcast. And if you focus on it, it will work. I know that it works because it works for me and it works for 60 of my clients. So the stuff that I share on this, it does work. But somebody might have a different opinion. Somebody might have something else that also works. As long as you're not doing the shit, you'll be able to get some value out of it. And so that's really what I wanted to talk about is just be careful who you take advice from, but just cut out the crap and you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine in your business. You'll be just fine in your podcast. You'll be just fine in your nutrition. You'll be just fine in your health and fitness if you're exercising, as long as you are doing more good things and less of the bad things. And it's going to help you. It's going to benefit you. So anyway, very short episode. Next episode is going to be an interview where I interview somebody that I think you'll get some value out of. So you don't even have to go anywhere. I will see you on the next episode right now. This is serious. Don't go. Now that you've gotten whatever value that you feel that you got, the actionable takeaways, you need to implement the stuff that you learned. if you remember me talking about bird church once, and they learn how to fly, and then they walk home, I don't want you to walk home. I want you to fly home. So take the steps, take the actionable steps for your benefit so that you can become a better podcaster. That's the only thing that I ask of you. And I'll see you for more actionable tips on the very next episode.